So we're going to talk about why everyone is moving to Olympia and why you should too. However, I'm not much of a shoulder. I mean, I could should or should. I don't know who's going to should, but it just sounds like you're making a mess. So I don't really know.
So we're not going to tell you what to do. In fact, I've learned not to tell people what to do because I've lived with this guy for a long time. And if you tell him something to do, he's not going to want to do it. So we're going to do a little reverse psychology on you and just give you all the good things.
All
and
the
let
things.
you decide if you want to move to Olympia.
That's what you want to do and create on your own shoulds, well, then you should do that because it's your own should as opposed to somebody else's should.
We're Joe and Charity. We're local realtors here in Olympia, and we help people just like you who are thinking about moving to the Pacific Northwest. We've made it easy for you to connect with us. Just get in touch with us on the number below.
So we're going to start off with the numbers. What really does the data say? Because otherwise we could just be making stuff up, and we want you to have real information.
So Olympia has actually been growing quite steadily. In fact, since 2020, we have grown 2.3%, which kind of seems like a small number. But if you look at the stats, our county, Thurston County, has been growing faster than King County, which is where Seattle is, and Pierce County, where Tacoma is. So I wonder why that is.
Well, in the comparison, we're obviously better. So we just want to throw that out there. As a matter of fact, Thurston County is projected to grow by nearly 90,000 people over the next 2 decades. So the forecast is really positive for continued growth, and that's good for you to know. Now, one of the first reasons why Thurston County is growing so quickly in comparison to other counties is affordability. The average home price in Thurston County is $565,000. Now, compared to King County, where Seattle is at, it's over $1 million. So affordability is pretty quick to see.
Yeah, affordability is one of the very primary reasons. As you can see, if you can buy a house for almost half the amount that you could buy in Seattle, there's some good motivation to get this direction. And we're seeing that happen with people who are telecommuting. We're seeing it happen with young families. We're seeing it happen with people that are retiring. So all age groups are choosing to move here instead of the Seattle area.
Yeah, and it's not just the housing that is more affordable. It's really at all parts of life, from gas prices to grocery prices to insurance prices. Everything is less expensive in Thurston County, and that works in your behalf. Now, what good is affordability if there's no quality of life and you're just bored to death in your house? Well, good news is we have a lot of things going on that create wonderful quality of life.
Let's talk about quality of life in regards to commute time. If you're living in a bigger city right now, we've been comparing this a lot to Seattle, your commute time is going to be in the 45-minute to over an hour range. Here in Thurston County, the average commute time is about 20 minutes, and it actually can be quite a bit less than that if you choose to live very close to where you're going to work.
Absolutely.
Thurston County isn't that large, so even if you choose to live in Olympia, Lacey, or Tumwater, those times are not going to stretch that much further.
No, not at all. So now that you have some extra spare time on your hands, what are you going to do with it? Well, I'm going to suggest that you enjoy the outdoors. What's great about the outdoors here is you don't have to travel a long way to get there. We have local parks and community centers, access to the water, whether it's fresh water in one of the lakes or to Puget Sound. Lots of options for you.
Yeah, some of our favorite parks are Squaxin Park, really close to downtown. You've got beach access, a lot of trails, play spaces for the kids. One that's really close to our house is Watershed Park, and Watershed Park is just a gorgeous, gorgeous, lush treed area that has creeks running through it, and it's right in town. Like Joe said, you don't have to go very far, but if you do want to go far,
got options. You could head out to Mount Rainier, which is about 90 minutes away. Or if you want to see a more recently blown up volcano, that would be Mount St. Helens. It's about an hour and a half. Of course, then you could get out to the Olympic Peninsula, about 2 hours there, all the way out to maybe one of the really great lakes and hikes out there. So lots of options for you, conveniently located with that extra time you get, and you don't have to commute as far.
Not only are you conveniently located to all of those wonderful parks and green spaces, but the third reason why people are choosing to move here is because we are strategically located between Seattle and Portland. And many of the clients that we work with, this is the primary reason why they're moving here. They have friends in both Seattle and Portland, and they want to be able to get to those places easily, and they don't want to live in one of those places. So it's perfect, actually.
Yeah. So it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to get up into Seattle, depending on traffic. It could be a little bit longer, game day, that type of thing, and a little over 2 hours to get down to Portland. Honestly, though, those are very convenient. You could, of course, take the bus up to Seattle, and if you wanted to head down to Portland, what's really convenient is there's a train that you could take down and take all the driving stress out of the picture.
If you want to be strategically located to Seattle because you're working and you want to still be able to commute a couple days a week, we definitely have clients that do that as well. And you can drive, but there is also public transportation that you can use. I have a friend who makes his way down to Lakewood, which isn't very far from here, and then jumps on a bus. It takes him right into Seattle. So you have some really great options when you're trying to get to one of the bigger cities in our area.
Perfect. That leads us to our next point. Not only are we just strategically located, wonderful place between Seattle and Portland, we have a lot of economic stability, and that's really crucial. Obviously, being the state capital, the government employs a lot of people. Matter of fact, over 30% of the community here, which is really good to know, and that is a very stable place. State's not going away.
Government is not going away, sure. Probably be more people employed.
Probably.
Another factor that stabilizes our economy here is where we are located in regards to JBLM. JBLM is a very large military base, and so we have quite a few people that choose to live in our area that are stationed there, and that keeps our economy really steady and also stabilizes our housing market.
Now, what that means on a practical level with the state job and the military jobs and all the ancillary services around them, we actually have a very low 3.7% unemployment rate, which is below national average and for a very good reason.
And all of that leads us to our next point is we have a very great growing job market here.
Absolutely. Now, besides for the military and state jobs, the healthcare industry is growing. And what's very interesting to me is also high tech is growing in this area. So a lot of potential things driving that overarching economy, as well as keeping the unemployment rate down.
In addition to that, there are quite a few people who are choosing to move here who are working online. So they get to choose wherever they want to live in the country, and this is the spot they're choosing. So it continues to improve our job growth. And along with that, people are also starting businesses here, and that's increasing the opportunity for others to have employment. You may be wondering what the median income is in our area, and it's just under 100,000 at 93,000.
What's interesting to me about that number is I was listening to talk radio the other day talking about Washington State. They said that you needed $275,000 just to live comfortably. And I'm like, well, I don't know where you're living because my zip code is a lot cheaper than that. So it might be someplace in Mercer Island or Bellevue, but down here in Olympia, that $100,000 is going to go a long ways. Now, with all this economic stability and low unemployment rate, it really does lead to a bright future. Matter of fact, it's a future so bright, you might have to wear shades. You're welcome, I threw that in.
The city has a 2045 comprehensive plan. That means they're planning for 20 years into the future. And this plan actually is taking in comments from people in the community so that they make sure that they include everything that's important to the people around. But they are planning for that additional 89,000 people to be coming to our area. So the comprehensive plan includes more mixed use space, which is fantastic. So many people are looking for walkable communities and more bike paths. They're also looking at redeveloping areas around the waterfront, which is also very exciting. And they're looking at housing projections and what they're going to need. So the city is doing a great job planning ahead for what we see as a very bright future.
Well, like we said at the beginning of the video, you should do whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not the boss of you. However, I think we've given you some really good reasons why you should consider, if you're looking to move to Puget Sound, moving to Olympia area because it is a great location.
And if you have more questions that we haven't answered in this video, then feel free to just reach out directly to us on that number below, or you can email us, just click in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this video and you want to know more about the wonderful things that we have to offer in the great Puget Sound area, keep watching.